Hello my friends, kabooms in Russia, they're happening every day or every night, depends on when Ukrainian drones fly there. Well, speaking about Wildberries, they lost 20% of the storage capacities in their warehouses. Several of the warehouses were completely obliterated and few were damaged. And it happened during the very short period of time, just for the last couple of weeks. And Ukraine is not going to stop. Russians themselves, Russian businessmen, they're commenting that it's just the start with Wildberries, and the next will be different Russian similar companies, like for example Ozon. Without Ozon and Wildberries, it will complicate the Russian business a lot, and altogether with Ukrainian strikes on refineries and oil storages, this is a huge damage to the Russian military budget. I was wondering how Ukraine potentially might escalate to have this asymmetrical response on the Russian attacks, and it is possible for Ukraine to do, because in Ukraine, well, there are no such huge storages, no warehouses of that type. They're way smaller, and Ukraine doesn't have those full-scale analogs of Amazon, as for example Russia has, and more Russians are into this business. More Russians are also consumers of Wildberries, Ozon. For 80% of Russians, those are the main online shops. For them, it's easier to order something and receive very fast than to walk to the trading center and to buy something themselves, physically. Yeah, there are still malls, but they're not that popular as online shopping. And this is published just right now. Ukrainian drones are flying to occupied territories and to the Russian territories already. More than 300 drones reported as for today. Could it be more Wildberries news in the morning? And of course, I'm waiting for those news. You know, the main disadvantage Russia has is that the territory is big, yes, but their air defense systems are not that capable. They don't have enough units to split throughout this territory. Yeah, potentially if they had enough air defense systems, they would be more successful in hurting those drones on the way, because they cover lots of the distance, so we have lots of the opportunities to operate against the drones. But Russia concentrated its air defense systems mostly to protect Moscow, sometimes St. Petersburg, and also Crimea, Kerch Bridge. But we see that Ukraine is already operating in the vicinity of the Kerch Bridge, just the drones are not enough to significantly disable this facility for a very long time. I think FP5 could work for that, I mean cruise missile, but we'll see. Cruise missile is very easy target for the Russian air defense, so Ukraine still works every day on peninsula to disable Russian air defense systems. In addition, Russia has a very huge problem. They build big warehouses, they build big storages, big refineries. So for the drones, it's easy to disable everything of that. In Ukraine, it is different. You will not find those gigantic storages, absolutely. Well, there was a big refinery in Kremenchuk, but it was disabled even in 2022. And the biggest plus for Ukraine that Ukraine has the border with our European allies who continue to support Ukraine with weapons, with other supplies. So Ukraine might lose the fuel infrastructure, oil infrastructure, but it will be delivered, via railroads, roads, and they're still working. And Russia cannot cut everything of that with conventional weapons. So speaking about those exchanges of the strikes on infrastructure, including civilian one, unfortunately, or the strikes on the ships, Ukraine is winning here. Because Russia simply doesn't have the source where to compensate the loss of the resources. Russia is the gas station country, but now they have the problem with that. Huge problems. They have to import even some of the gasoline back to Russia. And this is to main Russia. So yesterday there was the visit of the Ukrainian drones to the local refinery facility, and today more drones arrived. Those drones cover more than 2,000 kilometers. They are not flying straightforward line, 1,900, the distance from Ukrainian border to main refinery. Drones usually maneuver on a way to bypass Russian air defense systems, and one more strike, what can I say? The refinery is behind those buildings and it continued to burn. The situation in Crimea, or on the way to Crimea, with all of those trucks, supplies, roads, bridges, it's basically like that. And you see, even the bridges are being kaputted. My friends, just a short reminder, it is very important for the channel support. Please press like to this video just right now. It is crucial. Plus subscribe to the channel. We are on the way to reach 1 million subscribers, hopefully pretty much soon. And my friends, if you have this opportunity, you may also support my job on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or join membership of YouTube channel by pressing button join, obviously if you can. And thank you so much for making my job possible. Now let's continue with the video. But where Russia puts its air defense, yeah, of course, I mentioned you, Moscow. And the Russian military bloggers, they're saying about it, that Russia builds the new layers of the air defense in the capital city, also partially in St. Petersburg. They have this information also from the Western OSINTs, Western media, and it is based on the information coming from Russia itself. Russia sends more Panzer S-1 systems to Moscow area to protect the remaining refineries. Also airport Vnukovo because Putin is using this airport. There's the Russian company Rossiya, which is transporting those Russian government VIPs, including president, prime minister, and everyone else. So Vnukovo is the #1 priority, also airbase Hatilova 2, and Russia slightly reinforces some of the refineries in the European part of the Russian Federation. Totally, Russians are saying about 150 new air defense positions. Well, we'll see if Russia is effective with the air defense or not. I would say that for Ukraine it's difficult to break through to Kremlin, for example, because there are several of the layers of the air defense even now. And you might remember when Russia lost 2 of the refineries in Moscow, many of the Ukrainian drones were shut down. But nevertheless, they kaboomed. So it depends really on how many drones Ukraine sends. If Ukraine would send 1,000 drones to Moscow, of course they will break through everything. Max26 reposted Russian billionaire Oleg Deripaska and his Putin's friend, associated closely to Putin's circle, stated that the potential bankruptcy of Wildberries marketplace could completely destroy the Russian banking system due to the company's colossal multi-billion-dollar debt. Yep, this is interesting. And the Russian banking system, it got all of those debts from more or less profiting companies affiliated with the Russian government, as Wildberries, for example. And those loans are being taken by the Russian military to produce weapons, to pay Russian soldiers, and so on. So if there is no even potential to return those loans from Wildberries, the banks will go bankrupt. It's understandable. Wow, this is a very interesting scheme, and Deripaska says about it openly. An interesting twist I was not thinking about before, but in general, yes, the entire Russian, more or less profitable business, it is working for the Russian bank sector. Banks, they expect someday to receive money from those profit companies, and if they do not obtain those money, they go bankrupt. It's logical. Well, guys, I'm not the economy expert here, but I know that Russia has lots of the loans in banking system, and banks, they cannot give those money infinitely. And the Russian central bank cannot print rubles uncontrollably all the time. There is the limit for everything. So it's a good thing. Again, I'm not the expert, but Deripaska, he's an expert, and he tells about it. And this is already in Tyumen, right after Ukrainian drone visit to the local refinery station. They're accused of many of the cars to get limited fuel. So for now, the situation is not getting better. It is getting way worse for Russians, and it seems like it's just the beginning. Today there was the meeting in President's office with Drapati already, by the way, and they discussed new long-range strikes on Russia. It was officially announced by Zelensky, so we expect more and more visits to the Russian territory deeper and deeper. Meanwhile, this is the Ukrainian construction mall epicenter, the second epicenter that Ukraine loses this week, but it's not a Wildberries, it's just a big mall, and many of those malls were hit before. In 2022, like all of those years. Well, now Russia intensified the strikes, even on smaller shops, on gas stations. They want to respond somehow, to watch on their propaganda TV that Ukraine burns too. But in general, as I mentioned you, speaking about those strikes, Ukraine is not that vulnerable compared to Russia, because Ukraine may dependent on allies, and Ukraine has huge border with the European Union and NATO countries. And I think that Russia for now will hesitate to strike NATO countries directly. So there will be fuel in Ukraine, there will be goods, there will be food. In Russia, everything of that is under the big question. Oh, Iran is getting even more angrier on Ukraine because Ukraine hit some of the Iranian ship in the Caspian Sea. And even their foreign minister Agarchi saying that Zelensky has attacked an Iranian commercial vessel, killing a sailor. Wow. A blind violations, United Nations done at Israel's behest to drag Europe into its... Oh my god, okay. In calls with the EU and Lavrov, we made it clear that those actions cannot be unanswered. Oh, such a big threat from Iran, of course. So they shut down our Ukrainian airplane. Yeah, it was a long time ago, but still, it was, by the way, the airplane of my airline. But if Ukraine hits the commercial vessel with Russian weapons, oh, that's the problem. And about the cooperation, well, maybe it was. Maybe Ukraine obtained the information from the Western intelligence or Israel intelligence that Russia supplies some of the weapons to Iran, or Iran may supply some of the components to Russia, so why not to hit that thing? Plus, check out the range of some of the model of Ukrainian drone and whether they're capable to hit the moving target. I think it is the plus in general for Ukraine, and Iran may do absolutely nothing about it. As Russia cannot do. Today is the celebration of the Russian Navy. Russian Big Navy Day, one of their greatest military celebrations. But Russia, where's your navy? Why are you not protecting your commercial vessels in the Black Sea, in Azov Sea? Okay, camera moves out. I'm gonna scroll a little bit. You see what they have? They have a freaking printed submarine. Putin afraid to go somewhere where there is the real submarine. A military base of St. Petersburg in Kronstadt or Murmansk. Well, Kronstadt was hit multiple of the times, but here you see they put those placards and Putin is surrounded by this several-story building just for the security purposes because Putin is freaking afraid of the drone strikes on him personally. So it seems like the Russian Navy is out there just on the paper, right? Kind of the funeral music here. Subtitles generated by Gerashenko, and they're correct, I already cross-checked it. So Putin again doubles down on Ukraine and on reaching the goals of the special military operation, and again he went back to the history which is freaking broken and only exists in his head. So among other things, there is Western Ukraine, which Joseph Vissarionovich Stalin gave to Ukraine after World War II. It was Stalin who gave those lands to Ukraine, but he gave them as part of a single state. So he says that Ukraine, as the sovereign state, doesn't have the right on those lands. Yeah, the lands that once belonged to Poland, Hungary, and Romania will sooner or later be like returned back. That's what he said. And I think by saying that, he wants to get the sympathy from those far-right parties or right parties in those countries. They listen to Putin. Oh, Putin wants to give us more land, Ukrainian land, historically ours and so on. Yeah, in this case, Russia should return its entire territory to Mongolia. And he continued to accuse Ukraine of being like anti-Russia, Nazis, and the same stuff as it was in 2022. Absolutely no changes. He doubles down, melts down, and there will be no end of war with Putin. It's already freaking understandable. What is also interesting that Russian elite understands the recklessness of the Russians' actions in Ukraine, that it's the dead end for Russia, but Putin doesn't understand. And the reality is that with the long-range Ukrainian strikes, little by little, but Russians will suffer more and more. We already see it. Not just Russians like ordinary, but the Russian economy, Russian military altogether. But this guy, he is like living in his wonderland, where everything is alright, the Russian Navy is superb, and the Russian army has some of the success on the front lines. Yeah, they might attack something, but it's not the scale of 2022, 2023, even in 2025, then Russia was moving quite fast compared to what is happening now. Still, they were moving slow. In general, to occupy Donbass, to occupy what Putin wants, as he mentioned also on this briefing. He says that all of the eastern Ukraine is originally Russia, and just Bolsheviks with Lenin, they gave all of those territories to Ukrainian state. And he told about it on a meeting with those soldiers, sailors, Navy. Again and again, this broken record. Here he's very similar to Donald Trump. Putin visiting Irkutsk, Putin visiting Omsk. Well, different lights, different like mimics. I don't believe in Putin's doubles. I believe that he is aging not okay. Who is a mentally sick person who started this war absolutely for nothing. There are no any gains for Russia. There are no any gains for anyone. Just losses, losses, and losses. Alright guys, I don't want to make this video like really long, and stand by for one more update in a few hours, okay? And you may support me on Patreon, the link for it is in the video description right below, or join membership of YouTube channel by pressing button join. Thank you so much for making this content possible. My friends, also don't forget to press like to this video and subscribe for the channel, it matters a lot. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.